So on the weekly time frame, price broke swing structure at this point. Then we had a change of character, which was able to confirm that the pullback has started, and for a while we had bearish weekly internal price action. Okay, eventually we got into this discount zone. There was a liquidation at this point and an immediate change of character, which for me is usually a very good sign. Then afterwards we had a break of weekly internal structure. If you were able to tune into the last video where we talked about how the market is fractal, you would have been able to learn that usually a break of structure, internal structure, or a change of character on a higher time frame is usually a break of swing structure on a lower time frame. Okay, so this break of weekly internal structure that we have here is actually a break of swing structure on the daily, as we're going to see very shortly. So let's take a look at the notes. Price has mitigated the discount area, followed by a liquidation of strong low and immediate change of character. Happy to look for longs. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the daily time frame. Sorry, it's taking a while. Alright, so at this point, this is the point where we had a liquidation on the weekly, and this is the point where we had a break of swing structure on the daily time frame. Now, how did we confirm that the pullback has started? We had this change of character, and for a while the daily internal structure has been bearish. Okay, most recently we've tapped into this daily supply zone and we've seen a considerable reaction. Now there's every possibility that price might end up breaking this low, and we might even see price come all the way down, right? But the expectation is that this low is a strong low, it will hold. So even if price comes all the way down here, the expectation is that eventually we're going to see price take this weak swing high. However, we are in a very interesting daily zone, and there's every possibility that price could change character from this point, which is going to confirm to us that the pullback is over and we could potentially target these highs. Okay, at the moment that is not the case, so we're going to let the lower time frames guide us. So let's read the notes. We're currently within a daily price action range. No signs yet that the daily has aligned bullish, as we are currently in the daily swing pullback phase. Okay, let's take a quick look at the 4-hour time frame then. So something very interesting about this 4-hour time frame. I'm not usually in the habit of marking out future liquidity. I don't try to predict points of liquidity, but from experience I don't like to see my swing highs or lows as clusters, because they're usually pools of liquidity, right? There are a lot of stops resting above these highs, and we can also see another pool here. For me, this is a pool of liquidity as well. The reason I've marked this out is because I want to talk about something very interesting. Now, the 4-hour swing high is bearish. We have just started the pullback with this change of character here. Okay, so the expectation is that even if price comes all the way up here, we're still going to take this low. However, remember we're in a daily area of interest, which is really nice. So there's every possibility that we might see price break this 4-hour high to give the daily change of character. Remember, the market is fractal, and one confluence to that idea is the fact that there's a cluster here. Okay, so we might see price target this liquidity. Okay, let's take a look at the notes. Change of character indicates the possible start of the 4-hour swing pullback. I don't usually predict liquidity, but break the 4-hour swing high and realign with the bullish overall order flow, wait for further development. So in the interim, it's safe to say that If the lower time frames give us confirmations, we could look for longs to target this 4-hour high, could possibly look for longs from here, and so on and so forth until we get to this point. Alright, let's take a look at the euro dollar starting from the weekly time frame. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, we had a break of swing structure at this point, right? Then we had a change of character here, which confirmed the start of the pullback. Since then, we've had bullish internal order flow on the weekly time frame, and at this point we broke structure to the downside, right? There was a break of this weekly internal low. So weekly internal order flow is now in alignment with weekly swing order flow, and now we're having a pullback within this range of price action. We've managed to tap into the premium, and we are currently in a weekly supply zone. Let's scale down and see what that gives us. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so now on the daily time frame, remember what we said. The break of weekly internal structure just happens to be the break of swing structure on the daily, and we've been in a daily pullback. At this point, the daily internal order flow is still bullish. We've tapped into this demand zone. We've seen a lot of sensitivity. There's every chance that we could break this high, the same way we saw that there's every chance we could break the low on the Dixie, right? You can go back and check that out. Now remember, in the previous video we talked about how we slightly tapped into this fair value gap here after we swept liquidity. Okay, yeah, so the order flow is currently bullish, and it will remain bullish until something changes. So do not jump the gun, rather let the lower time frames guide you. So let's read the note. We're currently in an overlap supply zone. What does overlap mean? It means that we're in a zone where the daily supply overlaps with the weekly supply, and I love overlap zones because they're very high probability. Okay, however, the daily internal structure remains bullish. We may yet see bearish signs develop from this point. Let the lower time frames guide you. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the 4-hour time frame. Okay, again, sorry, it's taking a bit of time. So on the 4-hour, we saw a liquidation of this strong low and a break of 4-hour swing structure here. Then we saw price pull back into this 4-hour demand zone, and since then we've seen a change of character here, and we've seen bearish internal order flow on the 4-hour. Recently we've tapped into this extreme supply zone here, and we've seen some sensitivity, but nothing material yet. Okay, now usually this is some really good information. Usually when we're in a bullish order flow, supply zones mostly only serve to provide enough juice for pullbacks into demand zones for price to then continue. Right? That's how price flows from supply to demand and demand to supply, vice versa, all of that. Now currently our target zone is this flip zone. Why is it a flip zone? Because it was the last demand zone that caused a failure of this supply zone, right? In some cases, I like to use these weeks. This is an STB week, okay? Sell to buy week. Sometimes it can serve as my flip zone. My advice is stay in the zone, stay in the flow, and you should be able to catch when this zone is actually operating as your flip zone, right? Or you could keep it completely mechanical and choose one and stick with it. Right, so the 4-hour swing and internal are bullish. We started to see a reaction from an extreme zone, but nothing material yet. Happy to keep looking for longs till structure fails, if at all. All right, that's that for Euro US dollar. All right, last but not least, let's look at my favorite pair between the two, which is Gbpusd. Because these two pairs are largely positively correlated, we're going to see a lot of the same things, but with a few variances. So, break of structure on the weekly time frame. We've had the pullback. We've had a change of character, which also happened to be the break of internal weekly structure, and now we're pulling back into this weekly point of interest. On the daily, again, it's pretty much the same thing. Why? Because we have internal bullish structure which hasn't quite changed yet, right? So at the moment we're still bullish. We're currently in a daily POI, however daily internal structure is bullish. If this changes over the coming days, it could be a sign that the pullback is over. Okay, so what that means is if we see a break of internal structure like so, then it could be a sign that this pullback is over and we could be targeting this low. But at the moment we are bullish, and that's that. Excuse me. All right. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And as always, please hit the subscribe button down below and turn on notifications, and please join the free Telegram channel. It's completely free, and there will be daily posts of these markups and analysis daily. So even if you're a beginner, an intermediate, or pro, I think this is a group you could benefit from, right? Have a great weekend and have a peepful week. Get it? Peepful? No? All right. Bye.